Welcome back. It's not officially summer until you've had a slice of sweet seasonal pie. And today, Lainey and I are getting a masterclass in how to make the perfect pie from the woman behind the Pie Hole Bake Shops in BC and the author of You Want a Piece of Me? I'm talking about Jenell Parsons. Hi, Jenell.
Hi, ladies. We're so excited because today you are going to show us how to make a sour cherry pie. So let's start with the question about the most important part of the pie, which is the crust. What is your secret? Do you have tips to the flakiest, most delicious pie crust? So one of the key things for that perfect flaky pastry is keeping your butter cold, cold, cold. So we've all just taken ours out of the freezer. We pre-cubed it. The science behind that is when the fat goes in the oven, it starts to evaporate and the steam causes little bursting bubbles. And that's where you get those flaky layers built in.
Okay, Jenell, let's start with making the dough. What are we going to do first?
Well, first we're going to start with our flour. We're going to add a couple of tablespoons of sugar and some salt. The next thing is we're adding all of that butter. This requires hair to be pulled up. You're just going to grab big chunks of butter, and you're just going to roll it between your thumb and your forefinger, grabbing flour as you go. And so while you do that, you're just going to break it all apart into about pea and almond sized pieces.
Oh, this is kind of nice.
Don't we have machines for this? You can use a stand mixer if you'd like, or a food processor. But both of those will bring a little bit of heat to the process. And so once you've done it a few times, if you're feeling confident that you know what the mixture should look like, then you can cheat and just kind of pulse your way through with a food processor.
Oh, my hands are so cold.
Yeah, I always do the food processor once, but I'm very excited to try this by hand to see if there is a discernible difference. I'm sure there will be because this is certainly more butter than I think I've ever used in a pie crust, and I'm very excited about that.
Oh my God, my hands are so tired. I think I need a hand massage.
The next part, and this is probably the most challenging part of writing a cookbook and teaching a class, and for you guys, is the water and vinegar mixture. The vinegar is added as a natural inhibitor, so it will prevent any sort of mold growth. So if you made your dough 3 days in advance, you can keep it in the fridge. So I always start with about 3 tablespoons. I call them splooshes. A splash is a teaspoon, a sploosh is a tablespoon. And I just do 3 little splooshes. 1, 2, 3. So once you've got that, just kind of squeeze your flour and butter into that water. And you're just kind of try to start forming a bit of a ball.
Oh, yeah. Holy.
So I definitely need at least 2 more. So
Me too.
So as you're grabbing it, you can fold the dough on top of itself, and you're starting to already sort of build some layers right into that pastry. So I've got all of mine folded in. A great idea at this point is to just take your knife and divide your ball in half. So you've got a top and a bottom.
Look, I've never made pastry that looks so good. Wow.
And then a little bit of the plastic wrap.
This is what I hate about plastic wrap.
I hate it too.
Oh,
I have plastic baggies I'm using.
And then once you roll it up, put a little leverage in. You're going to get on your tippy toes again. Just use your palms and try and flatten it down to about 1 inch, because when you go to use your rolling pin later, you're going to be really happy that you did that. When you're making bread, when you knead it, you're developing the gluten, and that's what gives you bread. We want the opposite to happen with pie dough. So right now, when we put this in the fridge, we're actually allowing it to rest and to relax those gluten strands that we've just helped develop. And that's what's going to help make it a lot flakier.
so Jenell, our dough is chilling right now, which is great because it gives us some time to learn about other pies from you. You love to put twists on classic pies. So the one you're going to show us right now, it sounds amazing. It's a blueberry goat cheese basil pie.
There's a lot of questions. Is it sweet? Is it savory? It's definitely 100% a dessert pie. We've got it so jammed full of local BC blueberries. The cream cheese, or not the cream cheese, the goat cheese, that's in there is all creamed, and it just kind of absorbs all that blueberry juice. And then there's this subtle hint of fresh basil.
Oh my God,
I have never missed BC more. Oh.
Okay, Jenell, next you're going to show us how to make a key lime pie ice cream sandwich.
pie and ice cream, like they're a match made in heaven. So why no one was really putting them together in sandwich form blows my mind. So instead of like a macaron or a cake as the ice cream sandwich or a cookie, why not our double butter pie crust? So when you guys make this, you're probably going to have scraps today with the batch that we made for our cherry pie. You can easily do this. Just roll it out, cut them. I put a little bit of sugar on the baking sheet. That way it caramelizes on the bottom and creates a barrier so the ice cream doesn't make it soggy. And then you just bake them. So you've got these perfect little cookies. Go get your favorite vanilla ice cream, put it in your stand mixer, and add whatever inclusion you want. So you can add fresh fruit. This one has lime juice and fresh lime zest to make it that key lime. And we're just going to scoop that. And then I've got this one with just a little bit of melted white chocolate with a little coconut oil in there to help melt it. So we're going to just dip. What? And then it can't be a key lime pie without the graham crumbs. Oh, there you go. That part.
Oh my God. Ecstasy.
Oh my God.
Ding dong.
You guys.
My heart.
That was so rude because I can't share.
So our dough is nice and cold and rested. Jenell, you're going to now show us how to make all of these bits come together into a sour cherry pie.
We've heavily sprinkled our countertop with flour on the top and the bottom of our pastry. You can also, if you're having a really sticky dough, you can also put a little bit on your rolling pin. And you're just going to start rolling your dough. We're trying to get it down to about 1/8 of an inch, so fairly thin. And what you're going to see me doing is while I roll every once in a while, I'm just going to turn it a quarter turn. That way, you're getting a nice round circle.
Somehow I made mine into a triangle, but I am confident.
Mine's a rectangle. And now it's starting to look like the Batman logo.
You want to make sure you've got a good inch all the way around. So don't worry too much about the shape because we are going to trim it. Cut and give yourself a good inch, even 1.5 inches. So I just lifted and I put that right into the pie plate there.
Oh my God, you guys.
And exactly the same process, we're going to roll out the other side. And as far as making lattice pies go, the more strips, the higher the degree of difficulty because there's a lot more to weave. So I like to go for about 1 inch thick and to do 10 strips. I feel like that's like the quintessential pie look. It allows the nice spacing where you're just getting a tiny peekaboo of the fruit coming through.
So now, Jenell, we're going to grab our cherries and we're going to make the filling.
So we've got our sour cherries. We are using frozen ones. So a little bit of sugar, the golden sugar, yep. Then we had some tapioca starch. Do an egg as a bit of a binder. Lemon juice, a little pinch of salt, and some cinnamon. And you can use your spatula to mix that up. So if you're making a pie and you don't have quite enough of the sour cherries, they can be difficult to find actually. You want to do a mixed berry, you can throw any of them in there. Any of the summer berries are going to be nice and bright and lively with this. Before you put your filling into your pie, you always want to use a fork and dock the bottom of your pie crust. It's going to help allow for the airflow so that you won't get a big bubbled pocket underneath. We're going to do the egg wash, and you've got your pastry brush and a little bit of egg blended with just a touch of water to make it easier to spread. And we're just going to run that around the top circumference edge of the pie. That's going to be where we're going to push our lattice strips, and it's like a glue. It's going to hold it together. And then we're just going to start to pile it all into this shelf. And you want it to be like fairly mounding, like try and get it nice and smooth.
So Jenell, you can make this pie as a crumble or with like a standard pie top. I think it's called a full top. You decided to go real fancy and show us how to make it with a lattice top.
Yeah, we're going to weave some pastry on top.
It sounds hard,
Are
but
you ready? I'm so excited.
Let's do this.
I promise it's not that difficult. So we are going to take some of the longer pieces and we're going to start by just laying 2 of them directly over top in like a little cross.
I'm going to use my 2 best ones.
So the next one is we're going to take a strip and we are going to lay it. Now there's one on top and one that's lying underneath. We are going to put it on over the top one. We're going to cover that up on both sides. You're going to do one on each side.
So now you're going to take
Yes.
that middle one that's tucked in underneath and you're just going to fold it back. So you've got a strip that's stopping it from going and lay it down and lay one right beside it. And then just fold your strip back. And then you'll do exactly the same with the other two that are underneath. You'll fold both of those ones back and lay a strip.
I've always wanted to do this and I never knew how.
I'll rotate it so it's a little easier to see. I've pulled that middle one back. I'm gonna lay my strip down. And then these two, which are just underneath this strip, I'm just gonna pull that back and lay that one down.
It's a real brain puzzle, yeah.
My God, my lattice looks sick.
She's feeling very good. Woo!
Look at that, it looks so beautiful.
Jenell, Lainey, and I are going to throw these pies into the oven, but before we do, we need to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for giving us this master class.
Oh, it's been a pleasure.
And everyone watching, do not worry. You're going to find the recipes and how our pies actually turned out on all our social media channels.
And don't forget, You Want a Piece of Me is available now. We'll be right back.